Hello, fifth grade. Welcome back. As you can tell, we're going to start wrapping up the unit that goes with the Roman Empire. We're going to start wrapping up our last week of school here, and on Thursday, we're going to take a test over Rome. Now, clearly, like other quizzes and tests we've taken since we've been doing this non traditional learning, it'll be a little different, right? There might be a few multiple choice, a few fill in the blank, a few where you have to write a little bit. But we're going to end the new notes session with all of this information that I'm going to give you today. Okay, so as you can see from the title, we're going to talk about the eventual decline or the fall of the Roman Empire. So, this thing that you see in front of you, this chart, actually has two parts. The one part is the actual facts. Okay, so as you can tell, the thing about emperors, things about education, this red one here that I'm going to talk about, these are all factors that led to the fall of Rome. So we're definitely going to write these down, okay, as is. The other part of this chart is that it says explain how these factors led to the fall of Rome. So not only are you going to write these next to them or maybe on the next page in your notebook, you want to write why you think specifically this one, this one, this one, this one on down the chart led to the fall of Rome. Like, why would they be bad or why would they cause problems? Okay. The red one I'm going to give you here in a little bit as an example. Okay. So I'm going to give that away as a freebie. But these other ones in black, you need to write them down and then also come up with why you think they led to the fall of Rome or why they helped kind of cause some problems. All right, so the title obviously needs to be The Decline or the Fall of the Roman Empire. And let's go through these. The first one says that emperors, like their leaders, paid soldiers for their loyalty. So the emperors would actually pay the soldiers for their loyalty. Now, your other job, of course, is to go back and describe to me why you think this was going to be a problem. Okay, so think about why that would be a problem if the emperor, like the leader of Rome, would be paying all his soldiers to be loyal just to him. Okay, this is kind of a fact, and you need to explain to me why you think it's going to be a problem. But they had 22 different emperors over the course of 50 years. So you also tell me why you think it's going to be bad or cause problems that they have 22 different emperors over the course of 50 years. Third one down, government officials, so people like in the government, like senators, would accept bribes. So bribes is obviously money from citizens to ask them to do specific things. So the government officials accepted bribes. You tell me why this is obviously going to cause some problems later. Education became less important. This one kind of stands alone, but education or kids going to school became less and less important for different reasons in Rome. Obviously, you want to write this down, but you also want to tell me why you think that's going to lead to issues. Wealthy people stopped paying taxes. Okay, so the rich and the wealthy felt like at some point they don't really need to pay taxes because they spend their money and they provide things for Rome and for the empire. So they figured, you know what, I'm going to just stop paying taxes. So you tell me why it's bad that even the rich and wealthy people stop paying taxes. Why is that a bad thing? The food prices, believe it or not, are going to skyrocket. They're going to soar. And there's a couple different factors in this. You know, different wars going on, destroyed a lot of crops and things. So this is just an estimate. Obviously, nobody was ever going to actually pay this amount. But the price of something like a bag of wheat went from essentially 8 Roman dollars to what would have been like 120,000. So again, nobody's going to pay $120,000 for a bag of wheat, but that's what the prices kind of soared to. So again, don't just write this one. Tell me, why do you think food prices going way up was going to cause a problem or eventually help Rome fall? Okay, the red one here, it's kind of tricky. So that's why I'm going to give it to you as a freebie. Now, first of all, it says in red that they made more coins when their funds got low. So when their money for the government got low, they just printed out more coins. Okay. Now, why this is bad, and this is still an issue today, is if you just make a bunch more coins, then the value of the coins you already had kind of goes down. And you know, you can think about that. Like if it's something that everybody really, 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 really wants, and the price goes way up, and the company just makes a lot more of that thing, well, then the price is obviously going to go down because there's a bunch more of them. Okay, so The problem with this is obviously if you print out more coins or if you just make more coins, then their value goes down. They don't have as much value, so it's kind of worthless. Okay, so that's the red one. Last two here. Many outside groups are going to start to invade the Roman Empire. So again, you tell me why you think this is going to lead to the eventual fall of Rome. That one seems pretty obvious. And this last one here, they decided to split the empire in half. So they had what was known as kind of the eastern and western parts of the Roman Empire, and they figured, if we split the empire in two, then the people on the east can deal with countries on the east, invaders on the east, problems on the east, and the same thing with the west. Any countries over on the west, any enemies on the west, those guys can deal with them. So they split the empire into two halves, figuring almost like a group they could split the work in half. Now, again, your job is to go back and tell me why that doesn't really seem like it's going to end up being a good idea. Okay, so again, for today, write all of these down and then make sure you go back and do the second part, which is explaining to me why you think they caused problems, why they led eventually to the fall of Rome. Again, tomorrow we're going to do some review. We're going to go over some questions. And then you all will have a Rome test on Thursday, which, to be quite honest, is going to be pretty much straight from everything we've been doing. So, really, it shouldn't be too difficult. So, I don't really have a whole lot of fears about that. Okay, as always, hope you all are staying healthy and being well, and we'll talk to you soon.